You ever been on a diet, lost some weight, and then, boom, it all comes right back, sometimes with a few extra pounds for good measure? Yeah, it's this incredibly frustrating cycle. But what if the problem isn't you? What if it's not about willpower at all? What if the diet itself is the thing that's broken? Okay, let's get into it and explore a totally different way to think about food, our bodies, and our health.
So let's just start with a pretty staggering number. Get this, around 80% of people who lose weight with a typical diet, they regain it all back within 5 years. 80%. I mean, think about it. If any other product failed that often, we would say it's fundamentally flawed, right?
And that really leads us to the core question here. For decades, the story has been that if a diet fails, it's a personal failure. It's your willpower that wasn't strong enough. But when you're looking at an 80% failure rate, you've got to start asking, is it really us? Or is the method itself just not working? And here's why that question is so critical. The weight loss industry just in the US is a more than $70 billion a year business. It's an entire industry that promises results, but actually thrives on a model that for most people just doesn't create lasting change. So to understand why these diets fail so predictably, we really have to look at our own biology. This isn't about a moral failing, it's about a survival mechanism that's hardwired into us. See, when you start cutting calories way back, your body has no idea you're just trying to look good for a vacation. It thinks you're starving. It thinks there's a famine. And this is where our own body starts working against us. It's actually a pretty amazing biological process, but it's completely counterproductive for weight loss. So first, you restrict your calories. In response, your body slams the brakes on your metabolism to save energy. Then, your hunger hormones just go through the roof, while the hormones that signal you're full, they go quiet. You feel absolutely ravenous. And to top it all off, your body gets incredibly good at storing any calorie it can find as fat, getting ready for the famine it thinks is happening. It's literally the perfect storm for regaining weight. This whole process creates this really damaging pattern we call weight cycling. You probably know it as yo-yo dieting. And every time you go through that cycle of losing and regaining, you can actually make your body composition worse. You lose muscle and you gain back fat. Over time, this cycle is linked to some serious stuff like increased cardiovascular risk and a lot of psychological stress. The very thing that's supposed to make you healthier could actually be doing the opposite. Okay, so if restricting and dieting backfires, then what on earth is the alternative? Well, it's a complete shift in how we think about this stuff. It's called a weight-neutral approach. And this isn't about just giving up on health, not at all. It's about finding a way to pursue health that actually works with their body instead of constantly fighting against it. You know, this quote from registered dietitian Tracey Kmiecik, it just hits the nail on the head. The focus completely shifts away from restriction and moves towards what's sustainable. Because that old model, the diet model, often ends up creating the very metabolic and weight disturbances that it claims it's going to fix. And this comparison just lays it all out perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the old diet-centric world. The primary goal, weight loss. The only thing that matters, the number on the scale. The method, restriction, restriction, restriction. But on the right, you have the weight-neutral approach. Here, the goal is building healthy behaviors. And we measure success with things that actually matter, like your lab markers, your energy levels, your overall well-being. The scale just becomes irrelevant. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, and honestly a little counterintuitive, especially after a lifetime of diet culture. The secret isn't about eating less. It's about eating enough and eating consistently. And the way you put this idea into practice is something called rhythmic eating. It's pretty simple, really. It means no more skipping breakfast to save calories or waiting all day for one big meal. It's just about giving your body a steady, reliable source of fuel every 3 to 4 hours. So why does this actually work? Well, it's all about sending the right signals to your body. Eating regularly keeps your blood sugar from going on a roller coaster, which means fewer energy crashes and way fewer intense cravings. It helps regulate your hunger hormones, but the most important thing is it sends a powerful signal to your body that food is abundant and reliable. That allows your metabolism to finally chill out and get out of that emergency fat storage mode. Okay, this all sounds really good in theory, doesn't it? But what does the science actually say? Well, let's look at the clinical evidence, because it turns out you can make some incredible gains in your health without ever focusing on losing weight. So take a look at this. This comes from a major randomized controlled trial where researchers compared a weight-neutral program to a standard diet. The results were fascinating. The group that was in the weight-neutral program, the ones who were not focused on weight loss, they actually had a bigger drop in their LDL, or bad cholesterol,
And that is such a critical point. Your health improvements are not chained to the number on the scale. You can directly improve your heart health by changing your behaviors, by focusing on nourishing your body consistently instead of depriving it. And the benefits don't even stop there. Study after study on these kinds of weight-neutral approaches show that they lead to better blood pressure, a stronger ability to listen to your own body's hunger cues, and, this is huge, major improvements in self-esteem and body image. All of that while avoiding the psychological damage that dieting so often causes.
All right, so you might be listening to all this and thinking, okay, this makes a ton of sense, but where in the world do I even start? Let's break down some simple, really practical first steps you can think about. So first, maybe just try to establish that rhythm of eating every 3 or 4 hours. Make sure your meals feel satisfying and have a good mix of protein, carbs, and fat. And here's a big one. Step away from the scale, just for a while. It doesn't measure your health, and it definitely doesn't measure your worth. Instead, try to find ways to move your body that you actually enjoy, that feel good, not like a punishment. And finally, you can start to gently untangle food from your emotions by finding other ways to cope. See, it's about building new habits, not creating new rules.
So I just want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. For so long, we've been taught to see health as a number on a scale that we have to shrink. But what if health isn't a number you lose? What if it's actually a relationship that you build? A respectful, trusting, and nourishing relationship with your own body over time. What might change if we all started from there?
I stopped trying to find a doctor who would listen, and I did this instead. For years, I was doing everything right. Eating clean, exercising, getting 8 hours of sleep, but I was still exhausted. I had constant brain fog, and my hormones felt completely out of whack. Every doctor told me my labs were normal, and it was probably just stress. I was about to give up until I found Holistic Health. It's a free AI wellness tool trained by functional medicine experts. I spent 5 minutes answering questions about everything: my symptoms, my sleep, my digestion, and it built me this. And this was the light bulb moment. It didn't just give me a list of problems, it connected the dots. It showed me how my gut health was likely impacting my hormones and how that was causing the fatigue and the brain fog. It even gave me a clear list of potential root causes, supplements to research, and even the specific lab tests to ask for. Its tip is secure. Over 77,000 people have used it, and it's 100% free to get your blueprint. If you feel like you're not being heard, start here. Understand your body first and then decide your next step.